Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Elise and I hope you're all doing so good today. Today we're going to be talking about my 5-star predictions. I'm going to do 5 predictions from my actual physical TBR shelves and then 5 predictions for new releases that I don't have yet but really want to get my hands on. So we're going to go ahead and start with the ones that I own on my physical TBR. And then we'll move to the new ones. So my first 5-star prediction is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, and this is published by Grey Wolf Press. Grey Wolf Press is an indie publisher, and this is a memoir that I'm sure lots of people have heard of. So this memoir is exploring what it's like to be in a queer abusive relationship. And the format of this memoir is really interesting in that it's told in like tropes or genres and stuff like that. You can see like this one is Dream House as fantasy, and then it kind of writes about her experience with that lens. So I'm very intrigued to read this one. I mean, it's just got glowing reviews. I'm so confident in this one that I'm going to give it 5 stars. This is probably the one I might be most confident in. So that's In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. The next one that I own is Pew by Catherine Lacey, and this is published by FSG. And this is a very slight, small book, and I love when they do these naked hardback editions. Like, look how gorgeous this is. So the premise of this one is a person shows up at a church congregation and shows up there and is kind of sleeping there, and they appear to be genderless and androgynous and really just ambiguous all around. And one family from this church decides to take this person in, and then it kind of shows the unraveling of the town and how they feel about this person. So they start suspecting this person, and things become a little bit menacing. So this one I'm also pretty confident in. It's very short, but this one sounds very good, and I hope it is 5 stars. Next one that I own is another book that many people will know, and that is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. And this is published by Black Cat, and this one it co-won the Booker Prize in 2019. It co-won with The Testaments, I believe, which I haven't read, but this one sounds amazing. And this one is following a group of women, and it says it follows the intersections of identity and a moving and hopeful story of a group of Black British women. Suffused with empathy and vibrant humor, Girl, Woman, Other is populated with unforgettable characters, from a lesbian playwright to a jaded school teacher to a non-binary social media influencer. I think this is going to be great. I'm really excited for this. It is pretty long, but I'm hoping that will give us a lot of time to kind of develop with the characters and meet a full cast of them. So really excited about this. And I mean, it won the Booker Prize, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Next one might be the oldest book on here, and that is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. And this one is published by Knopf. And this one, gorgeous cover. Even underneath, it's this beautiful purple color. So I'm really excited for this one. This one was a finalist for the Bailey's Women Prize for Fiction, and this one says, Yejide and Akin have been married since they met and fell in love at the university. Though many expected Akin to take several wives, he and Yejide have always agreed polygamy is not for them. But 4 years into their marriage, after consulting fertility doctors and healers, trying strange teas and unlikely cures, Yejide is still not pregnant. She assumes she has time until her family arrives on her doorstep with a young woman they introduce as Akin's second wife. Sounds really good. I just saw, I think it was Books and Brittany review this, and she really loved it. So I'm looking forward to this. All right, and the last one that I own is Milkfed by Melissa Broder. And this cover is also gorgeous. I had a couple orange covers, which I love. I'm about the orange cover life. And I haven't read Melissa Broder before. I also own the Pisces. It's somewhere over there. And I haven't read that either. And I think I'm gonna love that too. This is an author where like I keep picking up their books, thinking that I'm gonna love them, and then I don't read them. This one is following Rachel, who is a 24-year-old person who is really heavily calorie restricting. So they have an eating disorder, so trigger warnings for eating disorders in this. And they end up meeting Miriam, and Miriam is kind of in a larger body and seems to be very free and like love herself and happy. And Rachel is very drawn to that. So I'm curious to see how this talks about eating disorders and disordered eating in general. I'm hoping that it will be very good, and I've heard great things about Melissa Broder's writing, so we shall see. But this is my last one that I own for my 5-star predictions. And my hope is that I will read all 10 of these 5-star predictions by the end of the year, and then I'll do another video reflecting about them. I'll do one reflecting on the 5 that I just mentioned, and then another one reflecting on the 5 that I'm about to go over. So the next 5 that I'm interested in, I don't own yet, but I will be grabbing all of these in some way. The first one is Our Wives Under the Sea, and this is by Julia Armfield, and this is published by Picador. And this came out earlier this year in March, I believe. And this follows Miri, who is married to Leah, who goes on an underwater mission in a submarine and comes back and is not quite the same. And so it follows Miri and Leah and the way their relationship is now that Leah is back, and trying to figure out what exactly happened down there and what's going on with Leah. It sounds really good. I know Jen Campbell just reviewed this and really enjoyed it. I wanted to read this since last year. It's one of my most highly anticipated books, and I talk about it in my mid-year freakout tag. But I'm really looking forward to this. Of the new ones, this is the one I'm most confident in that I will love. So I can't wait to get my hands on that one. The next one I also mentioned in my mid-year freakout tag, and it's We Had to Remove This Post by Hanna Bervoets, and it's translated by Emma Rolt. And this one follows a group of content moderators who are tasked with taking down explicit media content from the internet. And I'm really curious to see what it's like for these people who basically can become desensitized to like horrifically explicit and violent content, and what that would do to a person. So I know this is also really slim. Also heard this has had really good reviews. Love the cover of this one. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I do think this will be pretty violent and hard to read at times, so I am kind of glad that it's novella length. I think that will help me personally, but I'm very intrigued about this one. The next one is Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Maddie Mortimer, and this is published by Scribner. And this one I'm picking up pretty much solely because of Ewan's review from Hardback Hypebeast. This was one of his favorite books, and he did such a good job of explaining it, so I highly recommend going and watching his video. I'll try and link it down below if I remember. He just totally sold it for me, so I really want to read it. And this one says it's a lyrical debut novel that is at once passionate coming-of-age story and a meditation on illness and death. It's a kaleidoscope journey through one woman's life told in part by the malevolent voice of her disease. So I do think there is a narrator that's coming from like whatever chronic illness that she has, and I'm really curious to see what that is like and how the author portrays that. I do think this will be a very hard-hitting one, and I think, yeah, I'm just gonna find it deeply moving and love it. So looking forward to that one. The next one is a little bit on the lighter side, and I needed to put something a little bit lighter in here because a lot of these are heavy hitting, and that is Julia and the Shark by Kiran Millwood Hargrave. And this is also illustrated by her husband, Tom DeFreston. And it's basically like a picture book, but it has like it has a narrative going along with it as well. And this looks so good. The production quality looks great on this edition. This is published by Orion Children's Books. This one followed Julia. She lives on a remote island for the summer. Her mother basically has an obsession with sharks, I believe. This obsession threatens to submerge them all, it says. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be like uplifting and optimistic in the end, and it's always nice to have a couple of those thrown in. So that is Julia and the Shark. And the last one I also mentioned in my mid-year freakout video, and that is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. And this is published by Atria Books. And this is Emezi's first romance novel. If you watched my June wrap-up, I read The Death of Vivek Oji, and I really enjoyed the writing style in that book. And I'm really curious to see what their first romance is like. I've heard that the food writing in it is amazing. I've also heard that it subverts a lot of the typical romance tropes that happen, which I also think I'm in the mood for. I'm ready to kind of get out of some of the common tropes. I know that this book is queer, so I'm just interested in all of the above. I think it's going to be a great summer read, so I'm going to try and read it sometime this summer and hope that it's amazing. I feel like this is a pretty safe bet as well. So that is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. So that is it. Those are the 10 5-star predictions that I have. Like I said, I'm going to try and read all of these this year, and then at the end of the year do a follow-up video to see if they really were 5 stars. If you read any of these, please let me know down below what you thought of them. I'm really, really curious. And if you're planning on reading these, please let me know as well, and hopefully we can chat about it in the comments. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.